Welcome to the Books and Martinis podcast.
I'm Priya.
And I'm Mercy.
And this is your go-to book podcast,
where we lift, empower, and spotlight authors.
Grab your martini and follow along.
And don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to our podcast. I'm Priya.
And I'm Mercy. Welcome, everybody. And
Cheers.
Welcome, Lauren.
Cheers, Lauren.
Cheers. Hey, Lauren.
Salud.
Thanks for having me.
Yes. Oh, our pleasure. Thank you.
You gotta take a sip for good luck, for good interview. On our screen, in your ears, is Lauren Ling Brown. She's an amazing author. She's the author of Society of Lies, our Books and Martinis book club pick for this month. And we're so excited to have you.
Yay! Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
So happy you can join us. Our book club members are super excited. We're on the chat this morning talking to them, and they're loving the book. And I know it's like we finished fast. We have to devour her book before the interview. There's no stopping us. Audio, have my Kindle. Mercy had the hard copy, had her audio going too. We were dead set on finishing this book.
Yes, and our book club rates on martinis as opposed to like 5 stars. We do martinis, so you had 5 martinis from both.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Thank you.
So it was like, wow. And we're rough with those martinis. We're like maybe 3 martinis and a shot, half a martini. We're like, so it was a 5
martinis. That's a lot of martinis.
Yes, that's a lot of martinis. That's a good night.
Yeah, that is a good night.
So let's kick it off by telling you a little bit about Lauren Ling Brown. So Lauren is the author of Reese's book club pick and USA Today best-selling novel, Society of Lies. Before starting her career, Brown received a BA in English literature from Princeton University, also featured in this book, and an MFA in film production with a focus in screenwriting from the USC School of Cinematic Arts. Currently resides in Los Angeles, California, where she works as a film director. Maybe I'm speaking words into manifesting words for you, Lauren. She currently resides in Los Angeles, California, where she works as a film editor. Welcome, Lauren.
Thank you. So excited
Welcome.
to be here.
I'm totally fanning over you. I'm so excited that you're here. We've recorded all day, but I'm just so excited that you're here, Lauren. I cannot tell you enough. So I have so much to share with you and so many questions. And we have a little dog, by the way, also. So I apologize for my little girl barking. Yeah. So I have a million questions for you. But the first question I have for you is, after I ask you, tell us about yourself. How did it feel to become one of Reese's book club books?
Wow. It was just,
how was that experience?
It was like a dream come true because I'm born in the 90s. So I grew up watching Reese Witherspoon on TV in Sweet Home Alabama and Legally Blonde. And just when her book club came out, I read almost every single book. I was obsessed. So I just never in a million years imagined that my first book would, first of all, be published, and then second of all, end up in Reese's book club. So I was just like over the moon crying, honestly.
Oh, I bet you were. That's huge.
Oh, how
news.
wonderful. Well, I mean, the book is worthy of all of it. It really is. It's an amazing, amazing book. So as we were saying earlier, Priya and I devoured the book. Like we just couldn't stop, and it was amazing. We gave it 5 martinis each. I know that you have, and no spoilers for all our listeners that still have to read your.
We have to like hold our tongue here because we were talking about the before we came on here. We're just like, okay, I know there's stuff you can't reveal. We can't talk about.
Right.
Anyway, go ahead, Mercy. Go ahead.
Spoil it. So we don't want to spoil it. But I do want to talk a little bit about the fact that this book explores race, family, sisterhood, death, dark sides of privilege, betrayal, obsession, and greed, among other things. So, and it's a book that I feel as a reader, I need to share with others that you need to focus on. It's not just like a fluffy book that you're kind of like dusting around the house and you're just listening to. This is
not a rom-com, folks.
No, this is like, you have to pay attention because you have Maya and Naomi, and these two siblings are going back in time to give you a timeline of what's happening in their story and how it comes about from beginning to end. So you have two characters, a lot of different characters in the sisterhood and everybody that's involved with the Sterling Club and Greystone Society. So aside from saying all of that, and that it's such an incredible book, let me back it up for a minute.
You're getting ahead of yourself.
I know, so ahead. I'm like, I left already. I've been waiting for her all day because we're on different coastlines. Tell us about yourself. Let me start.
Okay. So I was born in Los Angeles, but I grew up in the Bay Area in Los Altos, California. And growing up, I just loved to read. My mom would take my sister and I, so I'm the oldest of three. I have a little sister who's 4 years younger, and my brother is 10 years younger. And she would just take us to the library on the weekends, and we'd get to pick out any book we wanted. I was obsessed with reading as a kid. I read Goosebumps. I read Babysitter's Club, even Stephen King.
Wow.
I know. A little too young. But
that's like a combination.
The combination.
Babysitter's Club.
Yeah. But then when I went to college, I started off as an econ major and switched to English because I just wanted to be surrounded by books. And I wanted to be a writer, but I didn't know anyone who had actually published a book, who had become an author. And so I didn't know if it was possible. I went to grad school at USC where I studied film production and screenwriting. And even then, I wasn't sure exactly how to make that a career. So I ended up going into post-production, working in film as an assistant editor and later editor. And over the pandemic, I wrote Society of Lies.
That seems to be the formula. Like everyone, all these amazing books popped up after COVID.
Yeah, or they were being written during COVID.
Yes.
Just crazy. Because it gave us some time to reconnect with our personal life and all our thoughts and all that inspiration from within.
And talking about inspiration, so Mercy detailed already like a lot of what inspired in the book.
Gotta keep her quiet.
Tell us about your book and what inspired you to write it.
Yes.
Okay. So Society of Lies. Oh, sorry. Let me silence my phone here.
Okay.
Sorry.
Edit.
Society of Lies is a thriller. It's set at Princeton in the eating clubs, which are the social clubs. And it's about two sisters, Maya and Naomi, who get invited to join this corrupt secret society. Maya, the older sister, joins 10 years earlier before the start of the book. And something horrible happens back then that I won't discuss because no spoilers. But she has to make the decision, do I stay in this secret society that promised me the life of my dreams and the ability to support my little sister? Or do I do the right thing? And so that's the moral question at the heart of the book.
I'm kind of like, more.
So
Tell us more.
It's so good. It's so
There's a charming, charismatic professor.
Yeah.
There's, toxic relationships. There's a lot of fun and champagne.
There is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And so Professor DuPont sounds like he's really hot.
Yes, he is.
That was your intention, right? Because like every girl wants to be with him.
Picture just the most charming, charismatic professor.
Yeah, that's what I imagine. Yes, yes. Enough to take us places. And then you have also Nate, and you have Cicely, and you have like so many incredible characters in the book. But I have to say that the book was engaging. The book was a great thriller. I mean, like I was like at the edge of my seat throughout the entire book. However, what touched me the most was at the end of the book when you speak and you say what inspired you.
Oh, thank you.
And how, this wasn't an actual story. These people don't exist. I had, I had a great time. Not to say that it doesn't exist, but it's not what it wasn't a personal experience for you, just something maybe you knew of. but just your like the way that you recap the whole thing at the end on a personal note kind of did it for me. It was like,
Yeah, like a cherry on top. I felt the
yeah,
same
it
way.
was it was really nice. So it was really,
Thanks.
really nice. How long did it take you to craft the story?
Well, first about the author's note, that is really important to me. So it's so important to me that readers check out the author's note at the end and just know that this is my intention is for the book is to create kind of an entertaining thriller that also raises these deeper questions and makes us talk about them with our friends and our family, our book clubs, and that it's not reflective of Princeton at all, but could take place anywhere.
Sure.
So that's the main point, main takeaway there.
I think you made that very clear, which was wonderful.
Thank you. You asked what inspired the book?
How long did it take you to craft it? But yeah, both.
Okay.
Both.
Okay.
Both.
So, I wrote it as a screenplay actually 10 years ago in grad school.
What?
Because this time in my life when I was 18 to 22 in college was just such a transformative period. And I felt like I was Maya at first, this insecure, shy, guarded, someone who didn't have a lot of confidence, who just wanted to fit in, who'd never felt like they belonged anywhere. And then throughout my experience dancing, joining BAC, the Black Arts Company, this great dance group, I feel like I evolved into more of who Naomi, the younger sister, was. Aww. So it's just kind of the story.
It's like two versions of you, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
At different stages in my life. And Maya, of course, evolved past that. Like she became her own character after that seed of a personality because of what she's been through. So that's sort of the inspiration for the two sisters. And then I just kept revisiting this time period in my writing. And over the pandemic, I was at a really low point, actually. I had gotten surgeries on my knee and then both hips.
Wow.
Over a 3-year period, like 2019 to 2022. And I had gone through a really bad breakup. I was just in a very low point, definitely depressed, everything. And I had just thought, I was thinking a lot about life and what I really wanted to do in my life. And I'd always wanted to write a book. And I had just never had the confidence to do it. So one day, I just decided to try it. And I wrote 2 other books first, and then Society of Lies, revisiting that screenplay was my 3rd book that I tried to write.
Oh, so okay.
You succeeded in writing.
No spoilers, but are those other 2 books coming out? Are those other?
They're not coming out, but some of the themes in them are in my next book.
Oh.
Booktube.
Oh, so do tell. What about your next? Talk to me about your next book.
I can't say too much, but it's another thriller.
Okay.
And it's about I don't want to spoil anything, but it's set in LA this time, and there is, a past murder and something that happens in the present. There's an assistant working for a wealthy woman and her husband. And so, lots of mystery.
But it's a thriller, so I'm excited. Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, that's fantastic. So I was going to ask you who your favorite character was in your book, but I feel like you said it. Like one of them is like past you and one of them is present you.
I guess
you kind of intertwined the 2 sisters.
Yeah, I guess if I had to hang out with a character, it would probably be Naomi or Daisy because they're fun.
Yes.
But I loved writing Liam, actually, because I just thought his character was so complicated and reminded me of people.
You feel for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
have to say, I love Nate.
Oh, Nate. I love Nate too.
I actually liked Liam more than Nate. Because he was like rough around the edges, a little harder to digest. And I love that. Like it wasn't just an easy read. Like you had to like really overcome something to accept him for who he was. So I really adored Liam. also.
Oh. Well, you also have a Liam.
Yeah, well, yeah, my son's name is Liam.
Oh,
But that's not the
that's a cute
reason.
name. I love
That's
Right,
not
that.
the
right.
main reason. Yeah.
Oh. What is something that you would love listeners to know about you, aside
Ooh,
from the fact that you have an incredible book that we
oh,
keep talking
thanks.
about? But aside from that, if they haven't read your book yet or they haven't heard about you yet,
Huh.
and they're listening to the podcast because they just want to know more about different authors, what should they know either about you or your book? What would you like to share with them?
Hmm. Let's see. I guess my goal in general for writing is to make entertaining stories, to tell entertaining stories centered on women, especially women of color, and to encourage these tough conversations that we don't always have, subjects that we don't always talk about. And I just think that hopefully we can come closer together by understanding that we all have slightly different perspectives, but they're all coming from how we grew up, how we were raised, and that at the end of the day, hopefully not as far apart as we think, because the world is so divided now. And so
Right.
my goal is for entertaining books to also carry some deeper meaning.
Yeah. Well, you did
I
that
love
very
that.
well.
Yeah.
And we did choose your book because it's International Women's Month.
It
And
is.
yes,
And
and
all the
you're a female
intersecting themes in there.
author. Yes, and then you had female characters as the main characters, so that was important to us. And our book club is full of amazing women from all walks of life, so they were excited to hear about your book. Um, what else can you tell us about you?
Well, I have a question.
Okay.
Oh,
This might be a little bit of a tough question because it talks about the intersex of race. So,
Mhm.
um, the book industry and being
Mhm.
an author.
Mhm.
So, I know we love to feature women of color from different walks of life, ethnicities, disabilities. We love to do that. Indie authors, traditional published authors. Um, can you do you have advice for
Mm.
women for women of color who want to get into
Mhm.
the industry? Because sometimes it feels like you have to work a little extra harder. You have to work harder
yes,
to get
definitely.
where you want to go.
Mhm.
If you don't look a certain way. Do you have advice or any input about that at all?
Yeah. I guess I would say find the story that only you can tell that really matters to you, and don't let anyone tell you that it's impossible to do. Because I've had people tell me, to give up writing, go into something more practical. And it's fine to have that day job, which is what I did. I had a day job. I wrote on the weekends.
Mhm.
That's fine. Just keep the dream alive, keep the hope alive, and keep learning. Teach yourself. Like find the craft books like Save the Cat, and so many others. And I just think, yeah, yeah, enjoy the process too.
So Save the Cat is what for our listeners?
Save the Cat is a great book on story structure. It's probably my most recommended book,
Oh, that's
Oh,
the
awesome.
one
that's
I
great.
recommend the
That's good
most.
to know. That
And
is really good to know.
for anybody wanting to get into the industry and publish
Mhm.
their book, what advice would you give to authors about the process and what to look out for, what to do?
Mhm. Find your community. So for me, it was my family. My mom would read for me. My dad reads for me. My friends, my closest friends will read and give me feedback. And that has just been a game changer to be able to send my manuscript to some of them. And I would say, for me personally, I like to finish the whole draft first before I send it out. And then take the feedback, take what works for you, like what makes sense and what seems repeated, like a repeated note, focus on that, and just try to polish the manuscript as much as possible before you start the querying process, which is how you would find an agent.
Right. Wow.
And how many
Well,
times did you
great
edit your
stuff.
book before you decided, okay, I'm done? Especially Society of Lies.
150.
Yeah, Society of
So
Lies,
many.
there's so many layers to it. Like, how many times did you edit it before you were like, okay, I'm done?
Yeah, the
Yeah,
first
and to
draft.
make sure the timelines matched with the
Yeah.
Mhm.
ages and the years and all that great stuff.
It's hard because for me, with this kind of mystery, everything is changing and shifting around because I'm pulling out threads of mystery. I'm putting them in, changing certain things. And so I'm the type of writer who likes to do a lot of drafts. So before I queried my agent, I think I was at like 10 or 15 drafts.
What? Wow.
But a draft might be I read through the whole thing and change a few chapters, maybe rewrite a few chapters. It's not necessarily the whole thing.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. And then make edits here and there. Because my process is that I'll export the manuscript, send it to my Kindle, read it back quickly, and make notes along the way.
Just to see how it feels on the Kindle, right? Like a reader actually reading it.
Yeah. Trying to get a sense of it as a whole.
Did you listen to it on Audible?
Yes, I loved.
How did you feel about that? How did you feel about it?
It was incredible because the narrators, they let me choose out of, Penguin Random House sent me about 10 options for each of the sisters, and I chose my favorites, and they were available. And they just did such a good job with the audiobook. I loved it.
Right? They brought it to life so
beautifully. They really
beautifully.
did. They really did. Having the different character voices helped a lot. Because sometimes, I mean, some of these books are amazing. They come out with the audio, the voice actors, but sometimes there's just one actor doing all the voices.
Yeah.
So it's really nice to have different voices play the characters.
Yeah. I think if I have to go back, I'm just thinking to myself, one of the books that I listened to that I was really impressed with was Behold the Dreamer. Remember that book?
Oh, what? So was that a book club? Was that book club?
Yeah, it was in book club.
Oh.
Behold the Dreamer. Yes. So it was the gentleman, his wife, and their little boy that came from, oh my gosh, I want to say somewhere in Africa, I think. And they had a really strong accent, and they went to New York City, and he became a driver.
Oh,
for a very wealthy man.
Yes.
I read that too.
Yes. The audio was so good.
The way that
is such a good book.
Yes, and the way that he spoke and how he pronounced, like how he spoke to his wife and the wife spoke back, and you could just hear the dialect. It was just so beautifully done.
I agree.
I remember that. So anyway, I don't know why I brought that up. I just remember that book was so good, such a good listen. Aside from a good book, because you have good books and then the listening is like, and sometimes it's vice versa. This case was like they were both excellent.
Both excellent. Yeah.
Yes. Well, like yours, we were able to connect with it because of it, and so many books nowadays also.
Now, what is next for you? So, Society of Lies is out, and you have some other books in the works. Plus, you have your film career. What is next for you?
Yeah, I'm focusing right now on writing book 2. So that'll be another thriller, murder mystery. And then I'm not sure when it'll come out yet, but I'll let you know.
We're just waiting. We'll just sit here and wait.
Trying to get
so we
like
can
the
interview you again.
From you, Lauren. Come on, Lauren.
No pressure.
It's so good.
And then let's see. I'll be at LA Times Festival of Books for anyone who's in the LA area.
Oh, that's
nice.
Awesome.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love that. Oh, that's fantastic. So, is there anything else that we haven't covered that you would like for listeners to know about you?
Or your readers that
maybe
they haven't discovered yet.
Readers, followers, listeners, future readers.
It could be anything.
I can't really think of anything.
I know. I feel the same way when I'm put on the spot. I'm like, I don't know. The minute I'm done, I'm like, oh wait, I could have said this and this and this.
Yeah.
We had one author we interviewed today, and her like thing was jujitsu. She did jujitsu on the side.
Very cool.
Like, how cool is that? Like, do you have anything that just like a hobby or something else that you're just like, yes, badass, or something quiet and simple that people can identify with?
I've been doing aerial silks now for 10 years.
Oh.
And it started because I had a knee injury and I couldn't do hiking or walking, that kind of thing. And so silks happens to be low impact because you're off the ground.
Right.
I know it's a little weird, but
no, it's not.
No, it's so cool.
That's fun.
And you're still doing it?
Yeah. And I love it. I'm obsessed.
Are you a pro at it now? Can you like
no
go all over the place?
It's definitely just for fun.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Nice. Yeah.
Good. And where could our listeners find you?
They can find me on Instagram mostly at Lauren Ling Brown. My website is laurenlingbrown.com, where I try to keep the events tab updated. And I'm on TikTok, but I don't check my messages there.
Me either.
On Facebook, as well.
And you're on Instagram.
Instagram mainly,
right.
yes.
Right. Yeah, I know. I feel like once you're in Instagram, that like absorbs like so much time that everything else is like, it just goes down a black hole. It's like, oh my God, it's been 3 hours.
Yeah. I guess, I did think of something. Now,
go ahead.
See?
See, you have to think about it.
Yeah. I'm just so grateful to the readers who have reached out and said that they enjoyed the book and that it meant something to them. To anyone who's helped spread the word and tell their friends, this book community is just incredible. I feel like I joined it around 2019 when I was blogging about books, and then now to be a writer is very cool to see both sides. I just think it's great. All of these readers, especially on Bookstagram and Book Talk, it's a very cool community of people who are open-minded and empathetic. Reading books, I think, builds empathy. And so readers are just a special type of person.
I agree. We
100%.
get to travel worlds and places that others don't.
There's a quote, you get to live 1,000 lives, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
Wow. Wow. And did you have an ARC team when you were launching your book, Society of Lies? Like how do you traditionally market your books?
Yeah, so I'm with Valentine Bantam Dell at Penguin Random House. So they assigned a publicist to me who's amazing and a marketing team. And for ARCs, if people reach out to them, they'll send them an ARC. So if you want the next one, that's a hot tip.
Yes, please.
And
add us to the list.
I made my own PR box, but then shipping ended up being more than I wanted to spend. So I didn't really.
Shipping
well, that could always be like special edition.
Yeah,
later
on.
If anybody wants to pay for it.
Yeah. We would like to put our names first on your list.
No problem.
For both, for ARC and also for the box and for everything else that you have. So we'll be your fan.
Yes.
Thank you.
We are your fans right now. Yeah. Our whole book club is your fan.
I'm your fan. I'm your fan.
Likewise.
Well, thank you so much for being our guest today. It was wonderful to meet you, to feature your book in our book club on a Books and Martinis podcast. We really enjoyed Society of Lies. Everybody, make sure you check it out. Look her up online. Follow her on Instagram and on TikTok and on Facebook.
Yes, it is a 5 martini book. That is not.
Can we get another cheers for
not
that?
Something often. That is rare. That is rare, people. So definitely, it's a must read.
Thank you so much for having me. It was so nice to meet both of you. I had so much fun talking.
Oh, likewise. Had a great time with you. You were worth the wait.
Yes.
Thank you.
All day, Lauren.
Thanks for waiting.
Of course. Thank you. Stay with us. We're going to do a behind the scenes for a second. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Like, share, follow, subscribe.